Namaste, I'm Sophia, welcoming you to a brief introduction on invoking the divine Shakti within, an awakening to embracing your innate divinity. Let me first introduce myself. I hold a Ph.D. in metaphysical sciences in the vast arena of different aspects of spirituality, with over 27 years of experience in the area of channeling collective consciousness, where the divine, feminine, and masculine Shakti is concerned. I have been drawn in this field as a result, like any woman seeking an alternative to understanding where the connection and disconnection is. When I speak of disconnection is when one finds that there's overwhelming aspects within experience, circumstances, and situations in one's life. This could be contributed within, or it's from the outside coming in. With this, it has always been my journey to rediscover my connectedness with the divine aspect. We all understand that there is a brief moment in our life where we are rendered helpless and we turn to what we term as divine, God, universe, cosmos, in whatever form, to be able to be salvaged from the situation that we're in. What I want to bring to your attention is that this workshop is basically about you rekindling with the power that's already within you. This power exists within all of life. It exists within both your counterpart opposite as the male and the feminine, female. The masculinity exists both in the female as well as the femininity existing both in the male. The great aspect in which this is denoted is when you look at Lord Shiva. When he embraced both these energies within himself, he is depicted as half woman and half man, but symbolically that's all it is. In the aspect is which attribute one resonates with, in allowing the nurturing aspect and allowing the aspect that is serving. In this aspect, you can see women who are very dominant and they think more like men and they will choose careers that are more male oriented. This does not make them, as the labels would put them, as tomboys. No, this means that the more dominant energy within them is the masculine energy, which is the driving force, because they have resonated with the part of themselves that is more forceful and forthcoming. In this aspect, you will also find men who are more nurturing and who have more maternal instincts, who are classified as being very feminine. In this aspect, these are just labels, but it is because they resonate more with the feminine Shakti energy. You see, understanding where the balance comes in is where the yin and yang, and the balance of the yin and yang is being able to understand that not one or the other energy can exist in the same space without the other. This is how balance is derived. So recognizing your innate divine feminine Shakti is an aspect in which you as an individual would know that you are up against a very dominant male, conditional, limited world. There are many things that women want to aspire to be, to become, to achieve, to attain, to accomplish, and yet they are still not accepted and recognized as equals. But the Shakti energy is where it does not discriminate. The Shakti energy exists within both counterparts that are considered to be male or female. And the energy is awakening to bring to realization that there is a changing phase within humanity. That is why you have all this equality rights and all this liberation rights and activists, and then you have labels and compartments of those who are coming out of the closets and things like that. Now that has to do entirely with one's sexuality. That's a different aspect altogether. But you would realize that at the end of the day, if you have a very low frequency energy in the feminine Shakti, being a woman, then you would consider that you're lacking interest in furthering yourself, acknowledging, recognizing, embracing your own sensuality and sexuality as a woman is diminishing. Because then it is a suppressed energy. All right? So in this class, we aim to bring a reminder that whatever you're seeking outside, in temples, in churches, in mosques, wherever it is people go to seek help from God, is that one feels like they are helpless and they are actually taking on a role as being a victim, that everything is coming from the outside in, and it's overwhelming because you cannot deal with everything at the same time. So the aim of this workshop is basically to bring to the fore that every aspect within all of humanity has a starting point. And in this workshop, we aim, or a class or the course, is to bring to the attention of an individual to understand that the pure Shakti energy is symbolically perceived as that which is belonging only to the God or the goddess aspect. But no, it exists within you and any other individual. Most of life has the Shakti, but it's also depicted in different phases throughout humanity. So let's understand something, that we're dealing with energy, that which you already are, because you are not the body. You are more than you believe yourself to be. And in the limited version of accepting the very limited aspect of your beingness, is that you are always constantly seeking out to be accepted, recognized, approved. And what actually is the dominating factor in this? Fear. Fear of having to always feel that you're existing within the limitation and conditionality of community, society, family, friends, workplace. All right? So these are the aspects that eventually start hindering and inhibiting one to explore and embrace the totality of your beingness. As they say that the whole ocean is contained within the droplet, then the whole Shakti is actually within the droplet, because you're driven by more than just being human. All right? The connectedness is never severed, but over a period of time, limited beliefs and conditional beliefs can actually render you to be in a position of a dormant state, where you are routinely functioning and operating as a human being, but you're not utilizing the innate Shakti energy that is a part of the facet that makes you the human and the spirit, the Atma, the prana within the physical body. All right? So in this aspect, the course will bring about first going through the purification stage, because then it's a transformation you're choosing to consciously want to make. and it is very intense and it is very powerful. Why I say it is powerful is because you're utilizing the power within you. In most cases, a lot of people don't realize that they empower any given situation, experience, circumstance, or other people to disempower them in return, because then the expectations is you always having to measure up to what's expected of you, and when you don't, you are withdrawn and you get into this stage or phase of feeling inadequate within yourself. Okay, and this is something that can be detrimental when it is allowed over a period of time, because then what comes in is stress and anxiety and depression, and the sense and worth for living a full joyous life is actually diminished. Yeah, so you go into the flow of being routine, and everything else is actually halved, because then you get too tired, you're lethargic, you're fatigued, no enough sleep, you're not feeling complete and whole as a participating person. So the luster within your life is actually robbed. Yeah. So what do we mean by transformation? Transformation is moving from a stage of stagnation, procrastination, and allowing, coping, and accepting with any situation as it is dictated to you. And in this transformation, you actually burst out and spread your wings and become this beautiful butterfly that knows that it has purpose within itself, yeah, without fear. And you get to the point and place within yourself where you can evaluate. See, evaluation is you already know where you are, and you already know the situations that have placed you where you are. Validation is when you acknowledge that you're worthy and deserving of more of what life has to offer, as opposed to what you feel is deprived, mainly by yourself, because you allow and accept these things to continue to happen to you, namely experiences, circumstances, situations, people, things, and places. Or you allow yourself to validate and you rebirth yourself. Okay, the main thing is to overcome what it is that you know, the stage you're in, and to move from that stage and move to a place where you're consciously able to assess what it is that you've always dreamt of wanting to do. If only I could do this, if only I'm in a position to do that, if only. All these if onlys is where you have posed yourself along, believing that there will always be a right time. Yeah, so it also brings you back to understanding that you are able to actually come to a point to assessing what it is that adds value to your life and what it is that you need to actually flush out of your life. Okay, there's no point holding on to what was, but there is every possible zeal, enthusiasm to look forward to what is coming. All right, so with this, you're able to put yourself in a position where you are able to be in control of you, the individual. And when you are in control of you, the individual, you're able to assess and to be in control with clarity to understand all the other situations and circumstances that are happening in your immediate environment. The other thing I would like to bring to your attention in this introduction to the course is that you will be able to at all times, rekindle at will to work with the divine Shakti within you. Whether you choose to have a strong head and be more masculine oriented, this Shakti will basically balance out what is out of balance, because then the confusing aspect, the coping and accepting aspect, the indecisive aspect, feeling rendered helpless, is going to basically bring you to balance. Yeah, so you're not merely going to be staying afloat, you will choose where you want to be in your life. The other aspect is to understanding that the most important part of this course is for you to know that the divine aspect does not render you a victim. You're not to fear it because it already exists within you. I mean, you're not afraid of the breath that you draw, no matter how depressed you are or whatever situation you're in. It has no limitation. It's very impartial. It has no conditionality, and it does not recognize fear. It only knows how to give itself endlessly, tirelessly, without prejudice, very lovingly. And it's at that moment when you feel you're on your high, when you're happy and everything is going well in your life. All right, this is the aspect where the invocation comes in. Invocation is a lot of way to put it, very simplified, is there mantras one could chant, but you see a lot of people chant a lot of mantras, and a lot of people want to go into the aspect of thinking that with affirmations and going through the process of applying the law of attraction and the cumbersome, tiresome, endless ways in which they feel they're doing this and seeing no recourse of results. So with this, you're going to work with breath, and with this it is an activation after you go the purification, the cleansing, clearing, reading the obstacles, the hindrances that you have allowed over a period of time to be yourself to be subjected to. So in this process, when I say the cleansing process, the purification process is like this. When you have your sink or your bathtub or the shower or anything that is clogged, you have to get it unclogged. Either you will call a plumber or you will use the best known method in which you have to actually create a continuous flow, because you want this flow of anything that is stagnating to move. All right, so in this aspect, one has to understand the initiative, the commitment, the willingness, the wantingness to rise up above the victimhood and to rise up above the limitations and conditionalities, whether you have imposed on yourself or whether you've allowed outside influencing, contributing factors to impose on you. What am I talking about? I'm talking about everything that you have allowed yourself to be subjected, because there is no one way. It is always a giving and receiving. So you could be given and you're receiving it because you accept that this is the only way to actually allow the peace to continue to exist. So just to alleviate yourself from anything that you don't want to experience that's causing you distress or duress, then you give in. All right, so in that aspect, you also have to come to a point of understanding that they are not just another cause of repetition. No, this is something that every other woman will turn to the aspect of the divine, knowing that you're not crying at the temple doors or in the silence of your room, begging the Divine Mother to help you in a situation that you're in. You're actually merging with her, learning how to use the innate energy of the Divine Mother Shakti within yourself. I'd like to say something. First, understand that the Divine Mother in all her personifications is first a woman. Then she is a wife, a mother, and a goddess. These are 4 pillars. With these 4 pillars, you're a woman. Whether you're married or not, you will be in a relationship. And it may work, it may not work. Everybody will experience at some point or the other a part of the problem in whatever relating you're going to be in. In the aspect of being a mother, whether you have children or not, at one point in your life, you are going to be around either your friends' children, your own siblings, relatives, cousins, that you will have to mind. You get me? But first and foremost, mothering and nurturing your own inner child that has been subjected at some point or the other, a violation where you are hurt. Okay? And that pain sinks very deeply within you. And it could be the wrong thing said, the wrong action served to you by anyone or anything. Okay, that you have actually found yourself in a situation. All right, so to bring this to a point where you can understand is that invocation is not just mere words. Your intention towards yourself in what you want to derive from this class is actually crucially important. You have to know that it begins with you. There is no quick fix pill that is going to actually turn your world around if you're not willing to want your world turned around. All right? So in this aspect, it covers the whole of you in every area of your life. Look at it like a tree in your life that has you as an individual, you in relation to everything around you in your immediate environment. It has to do with your ambition, your career, your occupation, your desires, your dreams, your goals, what you want to achieve, to attain, to accomplish, your purpose. You know, you don't just give up on yourself. Life doesn't begin and end with an experience. There are challenges within every experience that sometimes, yes, they could render you helpless. But at the same time, just praying and doing ritualistic, requirements by what religion is deserving, that this is what you do and what you're told, what you follow through, tradition and everything else, that in itself could also render you still helpless. But when you awaken the part of you that is forever connected to the source, because as long as you're breathing, your connectedness is never severed. There's nothing that you can do that is severely wrong or right, and that it's going to sever you from being connected to that divine aspect of the Shakti energy that exists within you, or the whole of humanity. All right, so clearing away that which does not add value to your life is another aspect of which you will identify. And the one thing is that the best way to do this is to actually be guided through it. And everyone has a different way of preparing any one given dish that is globally being served. All right? There is no uniform way or uniform technique, that there has to be only a set way of doing something. So through my experience, over 27 years of experience, I stumbled upon this energy by calling out an invocation, and clearly I have been using the same to help numerous people globally, and it is a cause that will enable you to transcend everything that's bogging and weighing you down in life, for you to be able to embrace your divinity. Divinity is something that you already are, and a lot of people feel they have to work really hard to acquiring this divinity, or to be worthy and deserving of it, like anything else in life. So with this brief, the course is going to take one day, because it is something that I will bring to your attention in that one that you are going to do for consecutive 9 days. The 9 days is significant because in the cycle of life, that is how long it takes you to go through the process until you are birthed into a physical world. It is a significant number, it is a spiritual number, and it actually resonates with the imprint of life itself. All right? So when we're working from the physical plane and we're working with the realm of the divine aspect, then we have to incorporate what is required. If most people find that at the end of the day that it will take them less time to be able to do this, then they have to use their own better assessment to what they can acquire within either a short period of time, or they feel whenever they need to revisit and redo the cleansing process, to reinstill whatever it is, then it is always available to you once you have started initiating the process of the course, and of which most of you would understand that the process is always by two laws, cause and effect. So for you to have the benefit of the effect of this course, there has to be you who is going to actually be willing, wanting and accepting that there are many things within yourself as an individual that you first have to come to terms with, and to release, and to let go, and to be open to allowing the new to come in, so that you could exist in the present moment, as opposed fear subjecting you to the future and being held captive in the past. Okay? For those who will learn how to embrace this energy, it will help you to also embrace your own sensuality and your sexuality, because energy is something that you cannot suppress. When you are feeling more elevated in understanding your transformation, then you become like a new birthed innocent child, unless you allow yourself to go back into the conditionalities and limitations that you will accept, that will be coming from the outside in. So with this, I trust that you are in understanding of what the course is going to be all about, and with this there is much to be learned, and in order to understand and know the process of how the divine aspect works, it is clear going through the purification. Your energy centers are the connected recipients because of how the energy flows within you. Okay, how the energy flows within you, unclogging and flushing out all outdated aspects of beliefs that are limiting and conditioning and inhibiting you from actually experiencing a life with joy and luster and being all that you want to be. The other thing is invocation. Invocation is to now restore the balance within you, so that you can actually recognize how the energy is flowing and how it's working with you, through you, by you and for you, in whichever way that these four pillars are going to be invoked upon. And it is not one given aspect. The divine energy is numerous personifications, and you know that it's the divine Shakti personifications is over 108, but known to you it's 108, but beyond that it's unlimited. Okay, in the other realms of where humanity at large is also requiring the energy where you're not aware of, in that aspect also, besides actually the purification and the invocation, is now being able to know that you are in control of the way you think and how you feel. This mental, emotional, physical and spiritual body gets cleared out and it's aligned, and it's up to you now to continue putting it in alignment, so that you can continue to flow through life with easement, without having to subject yourself. And you would know consciously that if something is completely offline, that it is very easy for you to actually realign yourself to it. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for your time, and looking forward to having you in my class. And with this, I send you lots and lots of grace and blessings from the divine Shakti that already exists within you, and awaiting for you to emerge and dive deeply into the arms of the divine Shakti, for it to actually guide you in your journey through life, so for you to find that there's much more to life than just the negatives, because you have to connect to the positive that you want in your life. Namaste.